Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is hashtag Korb Stat Chat. This is Mr. Korb. Today what we're going to do is talk about some qualitative versus quantitative variables and discuss the differences between the two and how we can further classify each one. So to begin, let's just start with the book definition. A quantitative variable has a value or numerical measurement for which operations such as addition or averaging make sense. A qualitative variable describes an individual by placing the individual into a category or group such as male or female. That's from the textbook. Now, let's describe it a little bit differently. Let's describe it a little bit clearer. There we go. Not like the speech I just gave. So let's talk about what these two variables mean, and hopefully you can see from the name you'll be able to describe these a little bit better. Qualitative talks about qualities of a person or an individual within a statistical study. Now, quantitative variables, remember quantitative, think of quantities. So something that we can number, that we can give numerical value to. Now, just to diagram as sort of a recap, I know that in the last video we talked about population and sample. Let's just review here. We have a population. So this is the population that I want to run my statistical study for. Now, I can't survey the entire population, or I can't conduct an observation of the entire population. So I'm going to pick a small sample of that. So the small sample is going to give me my sample space. Now, of that sample space, I can categorize what the individuals from this. So a sample is comprised of individuals who are the subjects of matter that we're discussing, that we're trying to make inferences on and collect data from. Now, from that, we can have qualitative or quantitative or qualitative variables from there. So variables are the things that we're actually looking at from the individuals, from the sample space, from the population. So this is how it sort of all ties together. Diagram. Okay. So what I'm going to do a little bit different in this episode is we're going to go straight to a screencast where I'm going to talk through a little bit of notes, really just two things. The qualitative side and the quantitative side, we're going to talk about measures of these variables and how we can measure each one and the different subcategories for both. So let's hop over to the screencast and go from there. All right, everybody, and welcome to our screencast. This is our first screencast of the series. You'll see more of these to come. It's just an easier way to visually see some of the information. So again, we're talking about qualitative versus quantitative, and this comes from chapter 1.1. If you're using our textbook like we are in class with Understandable Statistics, 9th edition. So again, prop stats, Mr. Korb, let's go. So qualitative variables, you got to think of qualities, or this is also described as categorical or discrete data. We are trying to put these things into classifications or categories. If we can put those into categories, then it's going to be qualitative variables, not numerical variables or quantitative. So qualitative, again, nominal and ordinal are sort of our two ways that we can break this up. So nominal, think of name. So how are we naming these things? So two or more categories that people can be placed into. So I can classify people by state. So I can talk about people from PA, from Maryland, from California, wherever. Those are classifications or categories that I can put people into. So nominal is going to be naming a category that they can fit into. Now, underneath nominal, we can break this up into dichotomous, which is exactly two categories, either yes or no, male or female, residential versus commercial. So all of these, either one or the other, where we only have two categories only. So dichotomous is a nominal variable, which is a qualitative variable that we can study. Another word for dichotomous is also binary, because you can have either yes or no or 1 or 0. So exactly two categories is going to be dichotomous or binary. Now, sort of the other side of this is you've probably heard of a Likert Scale. So do you strongly disagree, neutral agree, strongly agree, don't care? Oh wait, that's not one of them. Sorry. But ordinal is two or more categories that can be ordered. So we're still talking about categorical data. So discrete data that we can categorize. This is qualitative variables. So hopefully you see here what a qualitative variable is. Now let's compare that to quantitative. Quantitative, I said think of quantities or quantity. This is a continuous variable, something that we can Like from the definition, we can perform operations on, so finding an average, finding the standard deviation or variance. All those are going to be quantitative variables, which is primarily what we're going to use in this course. So an interval is one classification of a quantitative variable. Central characteristics can be measured on a continuum. So think of temperature. We have temperatures like 32, 32.4, 48, 75. It's all on a continuum. Also, time is another interval, which is a quantitative variable. So those are just some examples. Now let's talk about a ratio. 0 is included, and the ratio of measurements can be taken. So this is where we're finding like the distance or mass, height, age. These are all ratios because we can actually take numerical inferences from this. So we can actually do stuff with these numbers. So find the average distance, find the average height, find the highest mass or the largest mass, find the youngest age, right? So these are all things that we can mathematically do with each of these variables. These are continuous variables, also known as qualitative. So again, qualitative variables are categorical. Quantitative are going to be continuous variables, things that we can actually measure. All right, so after seeing that screencast, hopefully it makes a little bit more sense what's categorical data or qualitative, and what is numerical data, which is continuous, which is also called quantitative. But remember these things. Qualitative is categorizing or grouping things. This is a quality, a characteristic. Okay, and then quantitative is numerical measurement, which operations can take place. So we can average, we can take the highest, the lowest, the standard deviation, all this stuff we can do with numerical data, which is quantitative. So hopefully this has been helpful, understanding the difference between the two, and also seeing our levels of measurement the whole way from nominal, the whole way to ratio. And we'll talk about that. I'll do a whole video on just the levels of measurements later on. Again, this is Mr. Korb. Thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe. So like the video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and follow me on Twitter using the hashtag KorbStatChat, or follow my actual Twitter handle at Mr. J. Korb. Again, thanks for watching. Peace out. I'll see you next time.